to the rest of December on a good note with a victory today.
Opening tap controlled by the Bronx, and we are underway on a Sunday afternoon here in Lawrenceville. And once again, Marist coming out with a touch of a zone look, something we don't expect to see very often from John Dunn's teams. The longtime head coach at St. Peter's, known for a very physical man-to-man defense.
And the Bronx shooting so poorly from three-point range, 25%. They are able to work it down low.
That's Ajiri Ogimuno Johnson inside. Marist at 2 and 4. Couple of victories over Columbia and VMI. This is Sullivan. Pretty good set of defense to start the first half for the Bronx. 3 ball on the way from Soleil is off the mark. Bronx quickly trying to get it ahead. Good anticipation for Matt Harasmi.
And for the Bronx, Cedric Altman getting the start. The Bronx start with Mervyn James on the bench. Did not play much in that game on Friday, so Coach Baggett trying to make a move here to try to shake up the team with the starting lineup.
Altman and Powell, juniors. Demencio Vaughn, the graduate student, back here in Lawrenceville after 1 year at Ole Miss. Ogimuno Johnson. That is Murray Jr. for 3. Rebounded by Jordan Jones, the 6'8 graduate student from Baltimore. Harasmi. It's the post up for Jones. One-on-one with Ogimuno Johnson. He gets to the left hand and can't get the roll. Altman the rebound. Transfer from Pepperdine. Good pass. Demencio Vaughn, a left wing 3. Rebounded by the Red Foxes.
Bronx getting a couple good shots early going, working the ball into the middle of that zone, just not knocking down the shots from 3.
Wright got his defender off his feet, and Vaughn rips down the rebound with the right hand. Murray, as we were talking about, went over 1,000 career points on Friday night at Iona. He lost it on the way, and a tie-up on the rebound. Possession arrow will give it to Marist.
And pretty impressive in terms of Murray that he scored practically half of those 1,000 points in 1 and nearly a half seasons here at Rider, with the other 500 or so points coming at Incarnate Word.
Just 35 games for Murray here in Lawrenceville. Nice find and finish inside. That's Jordan Jones. And we are even at 2.
And you got to expect that teams looking at the film are going to try to attack Ryder in the post. Junior Joseph had a huge game on Friday going down low.
Powell missing from 3, one of the best three-point shooters in the league a season ago, but a slow start this year. Sullivan all the way to the goal with the left hand.
That's a heck of a drive by Sullivan, going coast to coast with the high lay-in over Demencio Vaughn.
Vaughn in search of Ogimuno Johnson, but not able to connect, and the Bronx give it up.
And you got to think John Dunn is going to play more zone today until Ryder can bust out of it by making outside jump shots. The Bronx 347th in the nation in three-point shooting percentage.
Just over 25% as a group. This is Wright. Sullivan thought about the 3, and some jostling inside. Foul will go against Ajiri Ogimuno Johnson. Rider head coach Kevin Baggett giving it to a member of the officiating crew. 10th year head coach here in Lawrenceville. 2015 and 2018 MAC Coach of the Year. Another foul inside off the ball. This one will go against Demencio Vaughn, battling away with Jordan Jones.
Well, in a way, you can't blame Coach Baggett for trying to work the officials early. This is a Rider team that has gotten in a lot of foul trouble in games this year, with James and Ogimuno Johnson in particular fouling out of a lot of ball games.
Well, certainly a factor on Friday night in the loss to Iona. Demencio Vaughn picking up 2 fouls early on there. Jones inside, had it denied by Vaughn. 9 on the timer for Marist. Drive and kick. 3 ball on the way from Wright is good. Ricardo Wright The sophomore from Eustis, Florida, has given Marist a 7-2 advantage.
And he's one of the players that you expect John Dunn to really build this program around. Last year, a great year, a winning year for Marist, and Wright had a big reason for it.
Great post up inside and the right-hand finish from Demencio Vaughn. And that's such an underappreciated part of his game, the way he could finish with both hands around the cup.
And that's a good sign for Ryder, getting Vaughn into the post, getting him off the perimeter, getting him down low where he usually can have a mismatch against a smaller defender.
Jones, the handoff with Wright, another three. That's off the mark, and Vaughn rips down another board. Powell, Altman, and Murray. Powell left alone at the top of the key. Vaughn, an offensive rebound for the Bronx. Post up for Ogimuno Johnson. His pass is intercepted by Harasmi, who's on the run against Altman, and Harasmi can't finish. Strong defense from Cedric Altman. Vaughn quickly the other way. Gets to the baseline in search of Ogimuno Johnson. Another turnover for Ryder.
Ryder came out fairly patient on the offensive end, have been a little bit loosey-goosey last couple possessions.
Soleil, Sullivan, Noah Harris, number 22 in red, on for the first time for Marist, along with Victor Eno, number 11. Harris probing off the pick and roll, 4 to shoot. He's got nowhere to go. It'll have to be Soleil for 3. Rebounded by Murray. Marist back into their man-to-man defense after playing in that zone for about the first 5 minutes here this afternoon. Ogimuno Johnson from the elbow. That's good.
Well, Ogimuno Johnson, his offensive game has really come together the last couple of years. Great shooting year a year ago, about 60%. Still shooting it well. One of the few Ryder players with a over 50% field goal percentage so far this year.
Led the Bronx with a 60.6 field goal percentage a season ago as Harris misses from 3. And Vaughn chases down another rebound, his 4th here in the first half. Murray, Powell thought about it. Into the hands of Ogimuno Johnson, senior from Nigeria. Hands off with Murray. And the pass intercepted by Sullivan. Marist off and running. That pass tipped out of bounds by Powell. And it will stay at this end. And some fresh bodies up off the bench for Marist. Jao Ituka, number 10 in red. He's been a dangerous scorer for them off the bench.
And he had a great game the other night against Iona. 19 points, 7 of 11 from the field. And he scored in double figures at 4 of the last 5. So we talk about last year with Wright being the MAC rookie of the week 4 times. Got another one in Ituka, who looks like he could win that award several times this year.
Mervyn James is on for the first time. He's got his hands full with Eno in the post. 3 ball on the way from Bell is heavy off the back rim. Vaughn skying to the rafters for the rebound. Vaughn turning down the 3. Murray cut off in search of James on the baseline. And the Bronx give it up again, their 5th turnover. St. Fercy fouled in transition.
And what's got to be frustrating for the Ryder coaching staff is they're taking a lot of chances early in the shot clock in the offensive end. They don't need to force some of these passes that are taking place. Run your offense, be deliberate, don't force the ball as much. Checking out that replay. Marist has done a good job, John, a few times in transition, getting good scoring opportunities. That time, St. Fercy with a strong drive leading to the free throw attempts.
St. Fercy, the junior from Inwood, New York, played 21 games a season ago and made 11 starts for the Red Foxes. Southpaw good on the first free throw. Corey McKeithen on for the first time for Ryder, number 3 in white. Will send Cedric Altman to the sideline. Bronx a little bit thin across the board. A couple of injuries, most notably Tyler Bladen. Player they're expecting to start in the middle, expected to miss the season with a torn ACL.
Yeah, and that injury has really hurt. They just have not had a lot of front court depth so far this year.
Powell is left alone. And he's short from 3. Harris has the board.
And that's the shot that was going down last year. A lot for Powell. This year, just trying to get on track.
Good defense from McKeithen. Ituka to the goal. James had the rebound and then was fouled. Jao Ituka, the freshman from Gaithersburg, Maryland, picks up the personal, and he's just dangerous off the bench, double digits 4 times this year.
And I know it's early for Marist. They've only played 6 games, but they've got 10 players averaging 10-plus minutes per contest this year. So that's a good sign for John Dunn when we're talking about depth. He's got a lot of players that he can go to.
It felt like those really good St. Peter's teams had that same amount of depth where they could really beat you 9, 10 guys deep. Mervyn James for 3. That's good. And we are even at 9.
And for Rider, they'll take a three-pointer from any of their players, whether it's James or somebody else. James, you wouldn't think of as a three-point threat, but knocks one down from the top of the key.
Just his second made 3 in 9 tries this year. Harris had it poked away by McKeithen, but a foul. Ituka into Eno. Bell, drive and kick. 3-ball from Harris. All cotton for Noah Harris, the freshman from Manalapan, New Jersey.
And Marist does a good job of sagging the defense in, the kick out to the wing for the open jumper.
Second 3 in 7 attempts here in the first half for the Red Foxes. Vaughn measuring Bell, working with James from the elbow. Rebounded by Bell. Ituka may have gotten away with an extra step. Ituka, jump stop in the lane. Tough finish inside.
I mean, he's got a upperclassman body as a freshman. Really broad shoulders there, and doesn't look like your typical freshman there driving the ball to the hoop.
This is Altman, back to James. Alan Powell looking to turn the corner. His pass tipped, nearly stolen, and Vaughn to the floor against St. Fercy. Vaughn somehow able to retain possession for Rider. James a wing 3. Rebounded by Braden Bell. Bell, Ituka turned down the open 3, finds Eno inside. This is Eno, redshirt senior, backing in against Mervyn James with the right hook. That's good. And throughout the greater Mercer Bucks and Burlington County region, to learn more, visit capitalmedicalgroup.org.
And John, speaking of not feeling well, I want to give a shout out to Daryl Fine, who we hope has a quick recovery. We'll be back here on the next men's basketball broadcast from Alumni Gym. Hope you're feeling better today, Daryl.
Jerry Ogimuno Johnson, a good move inside, but couldn't get the roll.
Of course, like having you here, John, too, but Daryl, obviously a staple with Rider men's basketball, and hoping that he's back very soon.
Here, here. Good tip from Vaughn as he gets into the pocket of Bell. Jones is back in the game for Marist, 10 to shoot for the Red Foxes. Right, cut off. It is Harris for 3. Ogimuno Johnson the rebound. Bronx 4 of 13 from the field. They've turned it over 6 times here in the first half. Vaughn flips it to Ogimuno Johnson, and he is fouled on the floor. Fouls on St. Fercy. He's going to head to the sideline for the Red Foxes, who bring a couple of starters back onto the fold, onto the floor. Soleil, Sullivan, and Harasmi. Vaughn and Altman working with Murray on the perimeter. Murray 0 for his first 2 today. That long pass nearly intercepted. Altman has to go here at the end of the clock. That's a long 2. Look at Vaughn for the rebound. McKeithen for 3. Rebounded by Saleh.
Well, pretty impressive display of athleticism by Vaughn to get that second chance opportunity. McKeithy got a great look around and out.
6 rebounds for Demencio Vaughn, a couple of them on the offensive glass. Saleh for 3, that's good. And this is the largest lead for Marist at 10 points.
And really the same story, John. Ryder came into this game giving up 41 more three-pointers by the opposition, and that's pretty incredible this early in the season.
Demencio Vaughn breaks the drought with a 3-ball. Feels like such an important development for Ryder to get some more consistent three-point shooting for Demencio Vaughn. Scored more than 1,200 points in his 4 years here in Lawrenceville before the 1 year at Ole Miss. Saleh, that's off the mark from beyond. Murray seeing double.
And a half to go.
Jalen McGlone is on for the first time for Ryder. That is Vaughn missing badly inside. Rebound taken by Raheem Sullivan, senior from Toronto. Post up for Ricardo Wright. Facing up on Alan Powell. Wright, tough shot, got it done.
He's got a little swagger to his game, doesn't he, John?
Certainly a confident approach, which you really have to have as a player in this league. Ogimuno Johnson working it with Dwight Murray, who steps up from the foul line. Offensive rebound for the Bronx. Post up for Vaughn. Eno hanging out as Vaughn goes one-on-one against Saleh and gets it done with the right hand.
And that's a nice job by Ryder creating space for Vaughn to go to work, so they unclog that area around the middle of the paint and the post, and Vaughn is able to score over an undersized defender.
Saleh, the back cut and slam for 2.
But that's a play where you expect Vaughn as a veteran player not to give up the backdoor cut.
Murray quickly gets it back for the Bronx. I think there's a miscommunication there defensively. And here is Saleh left alone again. An offensive rebound for Marist. Saleh with the left hand. Nine-point lead for Marist under 6 minutes to go here in the first half. Ogimuno Johnson from the baseline. That's short. Tipped out on the rebound. That'll be Marist ball.
Well, it seems like whenever Ryder looks like they're going to change the momentum here in the first half, Marist has had a good set or a good play in transition on the offensive end, and the Bronx just can't get any type of run going here in the first half.
Ituka, Harris, and St. Fercy back onto the floor for Marist. Ituka on the drive. St. Fercy with nowhere to go. Ituka one-on-one against Alan Powell and finishes.
And that's just too physical there from Ituka, taking the much smaller Powell off the dribble with that cut.
Ituka is just 6'1", but with such strength in his game. Here is Powell for 3. Yes! Alan Powell with the big response for Ryder.
And that's just got to be a deep sigh of relief for Powell. Has had his struggles. That's a nice job to create some space for himself on that near side three-point shot.
Powell, as we mentioned, at 27% from three-point range entering play this afternoon after he shot 44% a season ago. Harris had it taken away briefly by McKeithen, and then McKeithen fell into him. So the foul will go against Ryder with 6 on the shot clock.
It's a tough break for McKeithen. He really fought hard there to get that initial block, and just his momentum carrying him into the Marist play.
Inbound to Eno. Harris left alone. His 3-ball is heavy off the back rim, but he's got his own board, and then he throws it off a Bronc out of bounds. This feels like one of those sequences where Ryder has to come away with a stop.
And Marist getting second and third opportunities here to try to convert.
And coaches will tell you defense is about multiple efforts. Here's a 3-ball from Harris. That's no good. Another offensive rebound from Marist. Foul on the drive, wave off the made basket. It's on McKeithen, who just picked up his third.
And a lot of the frustration from the bench with these additional opportunities is these are long rebounds where the Bronx don't seem to have spatial awareness of where the ball is, easily allowing Marist to get those second and third chances.
Cedric Altman back on the floor for Ryder. Itsuka has it denied by Vaughn. Bronx on the run. Nehemiah Benson in transition. No foul. Outstanding defense from St. Fercy. Marist the other way. Soleil with the jam.
Lead extended back to 10 for the Red Foxes.
This feels like Ryder can't quite get over the hump. They're able to get it to about 6 or 7 at times here in this first half, but for the most part, Marist has held the lead for nearly 13 minutes as the Red Foxes fall back into a little bit of a zone. Something they employed for about the first 4 minutes or so this afternoon. Powell, Mervyn James back on for the Bronx. 6 to shoot in the hands of Demencio Vaughn. 3-ball is good. Second 3 for Vaughn. And the fourth in 11 tries for the Bronx.
A good skip pass. The Bronx not able to work the ball inside, but Vaughn showing off some good shooting touch today. Cuts the lead back to 7.
Sullivan into the paint. Runner is no good. James the rebound for Ryder. Vaughn thinking about it. He's got the game high 10 points. That's a long 2. Rebounded by Ricardo Wright. Sophomore gets to his left hand, tosses it off the window for 2.
That's the shot there by Vaughn that drives you crazy. He makes the 3 in the flow of the offense and then takes the next shot really too quickly, and the force leads to a Marist scoop the other way.
Altman fouled on the drive. It's on Soleil.
I haven't really said much about Jordan Jones so far, the center who comes back on the floor for the Red Foxes. Last year here in Alumni Gym on January 22nd had a career high in blocks, 10-point, 6-block, 5-rebound performance for the Red Foxes.
Foul off the ball will go against Marist. It's on Jones. His ears must have been ringing. Both teams at the limit here with 2:35 to go in the first half. Inbound to Powell, 3-ball. Actually, that is a 2. Rebounded by Harasmi. Vaughn in a battle in the post, and you're going to get an offensive foul against Jones.
Man, I mentioned his name, 2 fouls in succession.
Second personal on Jordan Jones. Second leading shot blocker in the MAC a season ago, just shy of 2 per game. And he's going to head to the sideline. Victor Eno on in his place.
Hey, John, there's 2 games that Ryder and Marist played here last year. 2 very different games. The Bronx with one of their most balanced and all-around solid efforts in a victory here January 22nd. Next night, Marist built up a 34-point lead at one point. Bronx whittled it down to 7 before falling 76-67. 2 very different games.
Murray, 8 to shoot for the Bronx. This is Altman for 3. Rebounded by Wright.
And in that second game, there was about a 45-minute delay before the start of the game because one of the rims was broken and had to be fixed. So we had the rare rim delay to start the festivities here in Game 2 of that back-to-back.
You know, Steve, you really got to change your warm-ups a little bit. We can't have you out there on the court 70 minutes out as Wright tosses in a 3, giving Marist their largest lead at 12 points. 90 seconds to go here in the first half.
I can say with assurance it wasn't from me doing any pregame dunks to break the rim. That did not happen.
James taking on Eno, seeing 3 defenders denied by Bell. Marist in transition. Sullivan had it poked away. It's still loose, and Murray comes up with the turnover. Murray. Vaughn, the trailer, thought about the 3. Taking on Harass Me, gets to the right hand and gets it done. Demencio Vaughn with 12 first half points, half of the total for Ryder.
Well, even though it's been a struggle here for Ryder so far, good to see Vaughn getting into the post, doing his damage down there where it's a really tough matchup for any defense in the MAC.
Foul, I believe, is going to go against Altman as he was hanging on to Ricardo Wright, and that's going to put the Red Foxes on the stripe.
I think where you're disappointed if you're the Bronx and the coaching staff, you wanted to get the bad taste of that game Friday night out of your system really quickly, and they haven't been able to come with a fresh start and better play so far here in the first half compared to Friday night against Iona.
Yeah, that game was just a little bit out of character. You don't normally see Ryder get beat up by any league team the way that Iona sort of manhandled the Bronx on Friday night.
Yeah, we know Iona is incredibly talented, and rightly so, preseason pick first, but that game was a 20-point game about 10 minutes in, and the Bronx really never threatened from there.
Ricardo Wright, good from the line for his first free throw. He's got 11. And Wright misses the second. Bronx trying to get organized here offensively. Murray. Good defense from Marist as Vaughn has it in the corner. He sees the shot clock. Crossing against St. Fercy. That's for two. James had a piece of the rebound. Eno brings it in for Marist. In the hands of Ricardo Wright for the final seconds here in the first half. Wright working against Altman. That's for two. Yes! And an exclamation point. They're starting five here this afternoon. Same group that started the game for Marist on the floor. They get it inside to Vaughn. Backing in on Soleil. Ogimuno Johnson. Right hand jump hook is good.
Good ball movement there on that possession for the Bronx. They're able to swing it around from side to side. Got Ogimuno Johnson isolated on that near side block, and he's able to finish.
The Ryder needs something more of a contribution offensively from Ogimuno Johnson, averaging just shy of 7 per game this year. Soleil for three. Rebounded by Vaughn, his 7th. Post up again for Ogimuno Johnson. Foul inside. That's going to go against Jones, and it is his 3rd.
I love that these first two possessions, the Bronx have made it a point to get the ball into the post, and Jones picks up his 3rd and really just hasn't been a factor this afternoon for Marist.
3 personal fouls in 8 minutes for Jordan Jones, 2 points and 2 rebounds. Pardon, Jared Jones. Inbound to Ogimuno Johnson as Victor Eno has stepped on in the post spot for Marist. Ogimuno Johnson to the right-hand hook. Rebounded by Sullivan. Inside, Eno, the intended target. Vaughn comes away with the steal. Good anticipation. Murray into the paint. And the rebound last touched by Ryder.
A couple of cracks here to get it to single digits. The Bronx not able to score last possession on the Ogimuno Johnson miss. And then they get a good transition opportunity there with Murray getting in that spot where he can shoot that right-handed floater, but missed it short.
Murray, a second-team All-MAC selection a season ago. His first year here in Lawrenceville. Right for three. Rebounded by Murray. Vaughn, good position inside. Ogimuno Johnson along two. Harass Me has the rebound. Sullivan left alone for three. That's good. Raheem Sullivan, his first 3 this afternoon. He's got 5. Altman lays it in. Tough finish for Cedric Altman.
The Bronx could use more scoring from Altman that time. Good job driving on the right side of the lane and finishing.
Altman at just 3 points per game this year. Eno tied up by Altman. And it'll be a foul against Cedric Altman.
Yeah, that ended up not being a good spot for those Rider guards right there on the block where you had Altman and Murray trying to figure out what they were going to do with Eno.
Second personal on Altman. And Vaughn had a piece and comes up with the steal, and he's a bit shaken up as Powell comes away with it for Rider.
A lot of different scores. They're going to try to find scoring from somewhere else.
Mervyn James is on in the place of Vaughn. Altman. Powell. Ogimuno Johnson. Handoff with Allen Powell. That's for two. Ogimuno Johnson has an offensive rebound. Had it poked away briefly. Finds James, who lays it in.
All started by Ogimuno Johnson getting that offensive rebound. Put the ball on the floor, nearly lost it, but then was able to shovel it to James on the opposite block.
Rider falling back into this 3-2 zone. Wright is left alone for three. That's good for Ricardo Wright. He's got the game-high 16 points.
In the zone, John, with those guards, they haven't done a great job today rotating over. There's been open jump shots on the wings for those Marist players, including Wright.
Altman for two. Soleil the rebound for Marist in the hands of the senior Raheem Sullivan. All the way down the paint, and his pass is off the mark, intended for Wright in the corner.
The shame of it is for the Bronx is that Marist has, played a little sloppy here in these first 4 minutes. They've turned it over. They've kind of wasted some possessions, but the Bronx really haven't been able to climb back into it and get the deficit into single digits.
They run it for Murray. Up and under. Game number 7 of the season for Marist here today. As Dwight Murray Jr. cans the first free throw.
And I think what happens is when some of those non-conference foes know that you're bringing back a lot of good players, it's tough to schedule those games.
That's true. High majors sometimes can be a little wary about scheduling some of these quality MAC teams. Good to see Demencio Vaughn back onto the floor for the Bronx as they pick up a little bit of full court pressure. Ogimuno Johnson commits the foul and takes the hard fall, but he's right back to his feet. Second personal on Ogimuno Johnson here this afternoon. Noah Harris handling for Marist. With Wright, Harasmi, and Eno. This is Wright. Harris, the freshman. That's for three, and it's good. Balanced scoring for Marist this afternoon as Vaughn glides in and misses inside. Red Foxes looking to run. In the hands of Wright, taking on James. Ricardo Wright is fouled on the drive.
Well, this is looking a lot like what Ricardo Wright did to the Bronx last year in those games at Lawrenceville. Able to break Bronx players off the dribble, score from the perimeter, score mid-range. Rider just hasn't found a way to stop him so far.
Into Eno. And Wright settles it down. He's got the game high 16 points. Using the screen from Eno right into the paint. Left-hand finish is good.
Preseason third-team All-MAC might be a little bit higher. We'll see.
Ogimuno Johnson has it poked free in the post. A steal by Harris. Good hands from the senior Eno. Wright, a step back three. That's good. Ricardo Wright with 21.
Well, that time he said, forget about running the half-court set. I'm going to step back and knock down a three. Increase the lead even more.
Largest lead of the game for Marist here at 19 points. Powell into the paint and lays it in.
And the Bronx now going with that full court pressure, trying to speed up the tempo a little bit, maybe create some turnovers to get back in.
It's into Harris, who waves off his teammates, and Vaughn kicks that one. Cedric Altman and Nehemiah Benson onto the floor for Ryder as James and Ogimuno Johnson head to the sideline. Harris finds Eno. That's an offensive foul.
Yeah, I thought they could have gone either way there, John, either the offensive foul or the travel. Looked like he may have shuffled the feet there, but either way, Ryder gets the ball back. Check out the replay here. Yeah, he looked like he walked too, but whatever, it works for Ryder.
Vaughn, nice cut, and he lays it in with the right hand. His first points here in the second half. Wright and Harris playing catch in the backcourt. Harris into the paint, denied by Allen Powell. Wright comes away with it. He steps up for two. That's no good. Another offensive rebound for Marist, but a foul on the rebound will give it to the Bronx.
And if you're John Dunn, you're probably telling your team during the next media to not fall for the trap of speeding up the tempo. Ryder's getting Marist to do what they want here with that full court pressure, take some quick shots, and that's Ryder's best avenue to get back into the game.
Foul was on Noah Harris, his first. Officials taking a moment. Marist player hadn't left the floor as St. Fursey heads to the sideline. Jao Ituka back onto the floor for Marist. 4 points for him in the first half. Altman and Murray, that's an offensive foul against. Bronx have run that weave action several times in the half court, just haven't been able to get much out of it. Corey McKeithen, number 3 in white, on for the first time. He's playing with 3 personal fouls. Wright against the smaller Murray. That's good. 23 points for Ricardo Wright, surpassing his total against Ryder a season ago.
And he's bringing that 29-point career high into play that he had against VMI. Still 12 minutes to go and closing in on it.
McKeithen. Good defense from Marist. Murray, end of the shot clock. 3 ball. Rebounded by Soleil. Wright settles things down as John Dunn barks out instructions from the sideline for the Red Foxes. Ituka gets into the paint. Make it 7 as now the Red Foxes have the largest lead of the game at 20 points.
And the Red Foxes shooting the ball great here in the second half. 7 of 11 from the field in the second half. 4 threes to give them 8 for the ball game.
McKeithen, Altman, Jeremiah Pope, number 15 in white, on for the first time. Pope lets a defender fly by and misses the jumper on the baseline. Soleil. Nobody stops the ball, and Powell commits the foul underneath.
John, how good has Soleil been today, taking the ball from the backcourt to the front court, dribbling, big-bodied player, and the Bronx haven't really been able to slow him down when he gets that full head of steam.
Soleil, Ituka, a couple of sort of well-built guards. Gritty and tough group, as you come to expect from a John Dunn team. This is Ituka getting into the paint. He's denied by Demencio Vaughn. Pope on the run in transition, off to Powell. And we have a stoppage, a foul off the ball. I believe that's going to go on Harass Me. Second foul on the senior from Chester, New York. It's into the hands of Vaughn. Handoff with McKeithen. Post up for Vaughn. He's had some success on the block today. Not with the left hand this time, but he's headed to the line as Victor Eno commits the foul.
Well, Vaughn took that spill early in the first half and came off, but great to have him back on the court. Gets to the free throw line here after that play in the post.
First free throw off the mark for Demencio Vaughn. It's just the third and fourth free throw attempts of the afternoon for the Bronx.
Just kind of shows you how difficult it's been to get opportunities close to the basket.
1 out of 2 for the graduate student from New York. A little bit of full court pressure. Harass Me and Soleil able to break it for Marist. Soleil lost it. McKeithen to the floor, but he may have been out of bounds on the sideline when he picked up possession. Right. One-on-one with Powell. Ituka inside to the right hand. No. Eno had a piece of the follow. Vaughn vacuums up the rebound, his 8th here this afternoon. Powell chased off the three-point line. He missed, but got his own to the left hand. That one partially blocked. Ituka comes away with it. Right. No foul. Oh, indeed, the whistle does come. Foul against Vaughn as Ricardo Wright will work his way to the line.
It's been that kind of day, John. You get a couple of shots close to the basket, can't convert. And Marist has been pretty good in transition, and Wright, against the smaller defender, is able to get to the line.
Fine afternoon for Ricardo Wright. 23 points on 9 of 13 from the field. Sophomore from Eustis, Florida. Came to the MAC all-rookie team a season ago.
And they call that foul on Demencio Vaughn, but really, Wright has showed off a full array of skills today.
Third personal on Demencio Vaughn as Wright makes both and now checks out in favor of Raheem Sullivan. Dwight Murray returning for Ryder. Pope to the sideline. Murray, McKeithen, Powell, and Vaughn. Vaughn on the drive. He had it poked away by Sullivan, but a foul.
Good action there on that set for the Bronx as Powell's able to create some space for Vaughn to make that cut to the hoop from the wing, and Vaughn goes right back to the line where he was a moment ago.
Vaughn, a decorated career here at Ryder over 4 seasons. For the graduate transfer during the pandemic season to Ole Miss, where he played 16 games off the bench. And retaining the year of eligibility as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. He finished his collegiate career here in Lawrenceville.
Kind of crazy how it works out for Vaughn in terms of the scheduling. He plays the year at Ole Miss, and then the Bronx play Ole Miss in the year to follow. I mean, what kind of script is that?
Written in Hollywood?
Apparently. Well, the Hollywood script would have included Ryder beating Ole Miss, but that didn't happen, unfortunately.
Soleil gets all the way there. Boy, he's been impressive this afternoon. Second Red Fox in double figures with 11.
And we talked about Mervyn James coming over to the Bronx, giving them a boost to transfer. Soleil led Southern in scoring a year ago, so He is another gifted player.
Vaughn for three. That's good. Spencio Vaughn up to 20 points this afternoon. Soleil cut off and threw it away. Stolen by Cedric Altman on the run for Ryder. He had it poked away by Sullivan. Boy, what an outstanding play in transition there by Raheem Sullivan. And a poised decision to settle things down and run offense. Sullivan, what a move to get to the baseline and lay it in. Outstanding sequence for Raheem Sullivan. The lead is back to 20.
Yeah, all of a sudden he just got the leverage on Altman, was able to cut to the hoop.
Great example of a player keeping their dribble and doing something productive with it at all times. Vaughn for three. That's good. Spencio Vaughn, a fourth three-pointer in 5 tries here this afternoon. He's got 23.
And if you're wondering, Vaughn's career high is 34, so still a ways to go, but having a very good day shooting the ball.
Harass me for three. That's good. Boy, that's a fifth three-pointer in 7 tries here in the second half from, well, doing so on Friday night. Marist doing so on Wednesday. Corey McKeithen driving it up the floor for Ryder. That consistency. Ryder didn't shoot a free throw in the first half. And the first one good for Corey McKeithen, the 1-and-1.
Yeah, Marist has done a great job against Dwight Murray today, only allowing Murray to score 4 points. And with the Bronx struggling to score offensively, they really need Murray to contribute. They've gotten a great game from Vaughn, but that's been it for Ryder.
Murray just 1 of 6 from the field this afternoon. Victor Eno is back in for Marist, as Jordan Jones continues to be saddled with foul trouble. Ricardo Wright, Eno, and that'll be an offensive foul as he put the shoulder into Corey McKeithen. Third personal on Eno, who has soaked up just about all of the minutes in the middle for Marist this afternoon because of the foul trouble for Jones. Ajiri Ogimuno Johnson back into the game for Ryder. Vaughn's been the bright spot offensively for the Bronx. Nice find. Ogimuno Johnson inside. McKeithen. Vaughn, the ball fake. 3-ball is up and good. Another three-pointer for Dimencio Vaughn, his 5th in 6 tries.
He is really feeling it that time against a double team there from the three-point line. Is able to knock it down. Another 3 for Vaughn, his 5th of the game.
Wright settles it down under 7 minutes to go. Wright with 25 points. 4 to shoot. Harass me, the step back 3. Oh, baby. Matt Harass me with the backbreaker at the end of the shot clock.
Well, it's that kind of day. You make one shot at one end, and then the high rainbow 3 goes down the other way.
Screen roll game, McKeithen. Ogimuno Johnson inside. Can't finish with the left. Rebounded by Sullivan.
It's a shame, too. That was a nice catch by Ogimuno Johnson on a hard pass and got to the cusp of the basket there, but not able to get it to go down.
This is Sullivan. Off the window for 2. Indicative of the way the afternoon has gone. Every time Ryder's able to make some inroads into the lead, Marist comes up with a couple of big buckets. Should note the 5 made threes for Vaughn has tied his career high in that category. He's really got it going on today. 28 points on 10 of 15 from the field.
And that might be the only question here in the final 6 minutes, John. Will Vaughn set a career high? Got to get to that 34 mark if he's going to set a career high today scoring.
Doing so at St. Peter's in January of 2018. Wright with 8 to shoot. Drive and kick. A Sullivan 3. Another offensive rebound for Marist. Eno, 8 to shoot. Harass me, creating against Powell. He has to go. Harass me, the fall away. And a foul against Ejiri Ogimuno-Johnson.
And that just shows you how good Marist been today at creating second, third chances, winning those 50-50 balls there. As it looked like there were a couple Rider players around, but Ogimuno-Johnson commits the foul to keep the possession in Marist's end.
Murray and Mervyn James back onto the floor for the Bronx as Rider has gone over the limits. So Victor Eno stepping to the free throw line. Eno just 3 of 7 from the stripe this season. Eno, originally from Decatur, Georgia. Heavy off the back rim. On the front end of the 1-and-1. 9th rebound of the day for Vaughn, who steps into another 3. Rebound, harass me. St. Fercy. Eno. Sullivan. Into the mid-range. Rebounded by Vaughn. He's got the double-double. His first of the campaign. Foul inside against Eno. That is the 4th. Against Victor Eno. And Mervyn James is going to head to the free throw line.
I think if the Bronx are going to get something going this season, they really need to get James to become a player that teams have to fear in the post. Had that great year last year, the transfer coming over to Rider, and I think he just needs to get more comfortable playing here at Rider, playing in the MAC, but you need some post scoring to complement the guard play, and other than Vaughn right now, the Bronx not getting a lot from their post players. James, though, here at the line to try to make 2 out of 2.
James, a fine player at North Alabama, second-team All-Atlantic Sun selection as a sophomore. So he splits the free throws there. Right around 4 minutes to go here in Lawrenceville. Marist led by 13 at the break. And that's an offensive foul against Sullivan on the brush screen. With 3:50. Alan Powell. With the shot for the Bronx, Powell with 7. It's been all Demencio Vaughn for the Rider offense today. 28 of the Bronx 55. Ricardo right for 3. Rebounded by Powell. Boy, Wright's been good today. 25 points as Mervyn James gets inside, but wave off the made basket. That's an offensive foul.
Well, John, sometimes in sports, when you play a lot of games and then you have that break, sometimes it's a good thing for your team, sometimes it's a bad thing for your team, but you got to think with this Rider team scuffling right now, it's probably a good time for a break as we check out that replay. James barreling his way in, getting the offensive foul called. The Riders played a lot of games so far this year, just have struggled coming up with good performances and good results. So you hope that you step away for a couple weeks and come back with a better performance later in the month against Rutgers.
Bit of a nickel-dimer there against Demencio Vaughn, his 4th personal this afternoon. And Raheem Sullivan to the line for the final 1-and-1 on the 9th team foul. Cedric Allman will step onto the floor for the Bronx. Demencio Vaughn to the sideline. He's got the double-double, 28 and 10 with 3 steals.
You play that tough non-conference schedule with the hope that it's going to help you when you get to conference play. So even though they had some tough results, they led South Carolina for 28 minutes in that game. You're hoping some of the bonding that took place on those trips and just playing those tough games on the road is going to make you stronger when you get to January.
Yeah, a couple of tough matchups with Bucknell. Bronx end up seeing them twice. End up 1-and-1 against them. Mervyn James creating. That's a long 2. That's good for Mervyn James. 8 points off the bench. And a steal from McKeithen. McKeithen gets to the goal but can't finish, and a late whistle. Foul against Marist.
Yeah, it should be 2 shots there for McKeithen, and good call by the trail official there to get him to the line.
Foul is on Jordan Jones, and that is his 5th personal. Boy, frustrating afternoon for Jones. He's going to end up playing less than 10 minutes as a result of the foul trouble today.
And one of the rare things that hasn't gone Marist's way today is Jordan Jones picking up the fouls and ending up fouling out.
McKeithen good on the first one from the stripe. Entered play today at 75% from the stripe, averaging 5 points per game off the bench in 21 minutes. Bronx picking up this full court pressure, trailing by 13. Door is still slightly cracked open for Ryder to rally. They'll need a couple of stops. Sullivan drives it on Powell and missed. Scrum for the rebound, and that jump ball will keep possession at this end. It's into Eno. Sullivan, 8 to shoot for the Red Foxes. Sullivan had it poked away, but a foul. It is on Murray.
You mentioned the nickel and dimer earlier. That one, a tough one against Murray. And every time Ryder needs that key stop, and opportunity here, although things heavily stacked against them, not able to get it, and Sullivan ends up at the free throw line.
Sullivan gets the roll on the first free throw. Senior from Toronto rolls in the second. McKeithen seeing double, somehow gets it to James, who finishes and one. Let's finish inside from Mervyn James. He's giving the Bronx a boost off the bench.
Beautiful pass by McKeithen. Not sure how he was able to slow that through, as he's got 2 players on him, but he's able to dump it down opposite side of the lane, and James good finish inside.
3-point play for Mervyn James. St. Fercy able to break the timeline for Marist. Going to play a little keep away here, take some air out of it. In the hands of Sullivan. Wright had the hot hand early. He's got 25. Make it 27 as Ricardo Wright drops in another J.
An explanation point on this one for Ricardo Wright.
James, that's a long 2. Boy, look at Altman skying for the rebound and keeping it alive for the Bronx. McKeithen, a deep 3. Yes, sir, for Corey McKeithen. Sullivan settles it down, and he is fouled by Murray.
John, for Marist, really good response for the Red Foxes today, coming off of that tough loss against Iona. They gave up the final 14 points in that game the other night in the loss to the Gales, and they're able to salvage this week of MAC play with a win here on the road today.
Solid afternoon for Raheem Sullivan, who rolls in the first free throw here. He's up to 14 points now. A perfect 5 of 5 from the stripe. Soleil back onto the floor for Marist, replacing Eno. Smart decision for John Dunn. We'll play 5 guards for the final minute here. Rebound by Murray off the Sullivan miss. Murray turns the corner. Can't finish off the back rim. Boy, been a tough day for Dwight Murray. He's got just 4 points. On now 1 of 8 from the field. A bit of a frustrating afternoon for Riders. They're going to take a double-digit loss here to Marist. Soleil, runner is off the mark. Harasme came down with it and has to toss it back up. Didn't hit the rim, and it goes in.
Yeah, it figures, right?
It's been that kind of day. Matt Harasme has made a couple of big shots at the end of the shot clock for Marist here in the second half, and he's not a huge offensive contributor for them. As Alan Powell knocks down a long 2. And the Marist Red Foxes have picked up a second straight win over the Rider Broncs, and they